Aloha mai kako. My name is Ihilani Lasconia. Today is March 19th, 2021. The time now is 12:04 p.m. And with me today, I have Punahele Kutzen. We're going to be talking about the movement to protect Mauna Kea, his role within this movement, and how his art and his music have inspired him, or the movement has inspired his work. Before we start, Punahele, do I have your consent to continue to record this conversation?
Yep, yes, you do.
Perfect. All right. So let's get into it. So our first question of the day, it's when did you get involved with the movement to protect Mauna Kea?
Hmm. Well, super hands-on would be January of 2019. But before that, just watching everybody go up, supporting from a distance. And I was working at the shipyard back in 2015 when everything was going on. And I was just concerned with helping my family pay bills. But once I quit my job to actually go on Mauna Kea, and yeah, it's just been nonstop, whatever I can ever since. But I've been always trying to help out with other movements, not only on the Mauna, just on other islands, or especially on Oahu. And yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I just have like a quick clarifying question. So when you're talking about the shipyard, are you talking about Pu'uloa or Pearl Harbor, like working over there?
Yeah, I did a lot of work at Pu'uloa, Pearl Harbor, and also just shipyards in Kalihi, like Pier 41, and at Campbell Industrial. But a lot of the work I did was at Pearl Harbor.
Oh wow. Oh, mahalo. And for are you good with this question? It's okay if we move on to the next one. Perfect. Yeah, that
Yeah, sure.
answer was awesome. What is your affiliation with the University of Hawaii at Manoa?
My affiliation with the University of Hawaii Manoa is that I am a Hawaiian place learning, and I bring an authentic Hawaiian perspective to that university. And also, I feel like I'm bringing representation of my community because there's not enough Macau West Side country mode ghetto thugged out Hawaiians. And I'm also just trying to learn and take Western knowledge, which I don't really care for, but just to have a certificate um, that I can stand on is nice. And also, I'm glad that it has a lot of Hawaiians that can help me learn our language, Olelo Hawaii. So that's the main reason I'm going there. But of course, getting this degree in ethnic studies and following your footsteps in the band program is awesome.
Wait, you're gonna be
Hopefully, if I applied, but if I get in, yeah.
oh, you're gonna get in. Oh, that's so cool. I'm stoked for you. Cool. Awesome. Um, oh wait, that actually makes me super duper excited. Okay, awesome. So right now you're currently a classified junior, right? In ethnic studies at UH Manoa.
Yep.
Mean. Awesome. Cool. And for our next question, it's what inspired you to stand so strongly for the protection of Mauna Kea?
The reason I decided to stand super strongly for Mauna Kea is because it is the peak of Oceania, and it represents all of the sacred sites for all indigenous people around the world, whether it be people from West Papua, Palestine, Okinawa. If they can desecrate Mauna Kea, they can desecrate anything. And also, I feel like I'm here to stand up for anything that is beneficial to Aina people, our ecosystems. So whatever I can to help anybody in any capacity I can, I'm down to do it.
Oh, mahalo. That's incredible. I really like what you said about it's kind of like what they talked about the degradation principle. So if they can destroy Mauna Kea, what's to say that they can't destroy anything else? So mahalo for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. And going just a little bit further on to our next question, if for the people listening who may not know, the University of Hawaii is one of the strongest driving forces for the construction of the TMT because it's through the Institute for Astronomy. And so, being someone who is Kanakamali, who has stood so strongly for the movement to protect Mauna Kea and other movements, but also being a student at UH, how has your relationship with the University of Hawaii changed since being involved in the movement to protect Mauna Kea?
So what has changed?
Yeah. So how is
With,
yeah, how's your relationship with the University of Hawaii changed since being involved in this movement?
um, I don't think it has changed. Every time, even Lasner, he notices me and he sees me and he gets scared. But I'm like, man, just do the right thing. I'm not here to threaten anybody. I just, I don't want my people stepped on. I don't want the soul of my people trampled. And I feel like nothing has changed. And until TMT is stopped and any BS against Hawaiians is stopped, then nothing has changed. I'm just going to school and learning and trying to stand up for my people.
Awesome. Mahalo. I really like what you said of you don't want the souls of your people to get trampled on. That sounds like a mean line in a song. Huh. Yeah, mahalo. And a little bit earlier in our interview, you said that you were a Hawaiian place of learning at UH Manoa. And so that's pretty cool because the next question that we have is how do you envision a Hawaiian place of learning?
Of course, a reciprocal relationship with the Aina is how I envision a Hawaiian place of learning. I feel like just me representing Makaha and cultivating the land and cleaning up the land and healing the land has taught me so much about my people. Or like when I'm in a lo'i and I see one huli that got stepped on and I can try and help fix them. Sometimes you get sad because it's a loss, but you always know that there's another day and another chance to heal Aina and to heal my people. And yeah, I love when Hawaiians teach Hawaiians, and just life is a Hawaiian place of learning. But it's just sad to see people appropriate something that can serve indigenous people and use it as a tool to desecrate Aina. And that's not what I see as a future for my people. Yeah, that's it. My bad. I'm so stumped.
No, that's literally perfect. And I really like the way that you talked about life is a Hawaiian place of learning. You know what I mean? Like it's this learning, it doesn't only take place in like the university, which is an academic institution, but it's literally everywhere, you know? And oh no, that is perfect, Punahele. Mahalo like for reminding us that a Hawaiian place of learning doesn't only have to exist within these institutions, but it's really where the Kanaka are or where the Hawaiians are. So yeah, mahalo. And going through onto our next question, um, as someone who's been on the Mauna for literally months, and you did pretty much your whole semester in the fall of 2019 on the Mauna, and even coming back down, it's been almost a year since people have left the Mauna due to COVID. But how have you sustained yourself and kept yourself going throughout this movement?
Oh man, I guess like I'm glad I saved a lot of money because I blew a lot of money on Mauna Kea, which it doesn't matter. I wasn't in it for the money, but also just posting stuff and calling out for help. One of my friends got arrested on the Mauna, and I just posted something on my IG story, and 2 minutes later, there was like the bail money in my Venmo. I also did a little fundraising outside of the pool just because a lot of the Hawaiians up there was struggling. I bought my friend Kyle a car radiator. We just posting on Twitter or IG and just random stuff like that, helping getting a generator for the Mana Mahuten because I feel like they wasn't recognized enough in my opinion. But I always try to spread the law, but I try to do what I can for the people that I seen that needed more help than others. As far as sustaining myself, I was lucky, man. I also I did some tree trimming in Kona just to make extra money, and yeah, just life figures it out for us. The Aina, you take care of the Aina, you stand for the Aina. Somehow the Aina takes care of you, and also my ancestors are from Mokuo Keawe as well, so that might have something to do with it. It's a driving force. And of course, yeah, since my ancestors are from there, I got siblings all over the Big Island, so that also helped too. Places for shower, eat. You know, people always wanted to take care of me. So, and also just the Hawaiians of Moku Okeawe. You know, like Brother Dynamite of Southern Rush always just made sure we were straight, checked in on us, made sure we wasn't starving or anything. So yeah, people take care.
Hmm. Oh, mahalo. Oh, I didn't know you had siblings. Moku Keave. That's nice. I do too. My oldest sister, well, she lives in Maili now, but she's gonna move back to Puna with her three kids soon. So oh, it's mean. It's awesome. And kind of shifting gears just a little bit. You are an incredible rapper, an artist. You won on the Hoku Hano Hano Award for Best Hip Hop Album of the Year. So that's pretty mean. And something that I really want to know and I'm interested in learning more about is what specific aspects of the movement to protect Mauna Kea have inspired you to create art and write songs?
Well, just standing on the front lines. I think on January 15th, you know, me had there's just a multiple standoffs all over the place. Had one just one tiny line with me, Havane, Ka'ikena, and Lana Kila just standing in a line and just like jamming with each other. And you know, it was just overrun with emotions after the police left. I sat down on a rock between the hunting cabin and where the first Kanaka Costco was, and Pu'uhuluhulu University is just like a random rock. And I sat there and I wrote like 3 songs in a row, just overwhelmed with emotion, and it just poured out of me. So, and also just spending 6 months up there with hella talented Hawaiians, people like Brother Kyle Strings and Brother Wills and Ika Aka, just being around those guys and constantly jamming and making beats and producing and recording in random cars and tents, just music poured out of me. And a lot of the songs I did up there was about missing Makaha. So, but yeah, of course, any kind of frontline actions just got transformed into songs. Makahanaka Ike, the knowledge is in the doing, and in the doing, songs come out of that.
Oh, I like that way you put that. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, oh, 3 songs in one day. That's pretty lucky. That's pretty lucky. That's mean. And so
Yeah.
now that you aren't on the Mauna anymore, even though the movement is still very much alive, you know, like the fight still continues. It's not over yet. How has your music and your art helped you stay connected to this movement, even though you're no longer physically on the Mauna?
I think you know a lot of us who experienced the Mauna left um, parts of ourselves up there, and also the Mauna gave us parts of herself, and it's with us no matter where we go. If I see one random brother that was standing with me when I was scrubbing toilets, you know, the relationship is there. We we kind of are a part of each other's lives now, just because we risked it all and we stood for something, and is never gonna leave. And now it just makes me question life off of the Mauna. A lot of my music is targeting um, my experiences off of the mountain now. It's a whole different diversity, and seeing like things such as like the policing, like Kapu Aloha policing people and stuff. Like, you know, you guys are not Kapu Aloha. Like, especially when non-Hawaiians tell me that, it's like my Kapu Aloha is still on the mountain. So sometimes I get super, I can get nuts now. But yeah, just the everything on the mountain has never left me, and I'm willing to do it 1,000 times over. I'm willing to go back 1,000 different times the rest of my life, if need be, to stop the desecration on any island or any place, but especially Mauna Kea.
Mm. Cool. Mahalo for sharing and mahalo for that dedication. You know, there's a lot of people like there are a lot of people who would say like, I would be there anywhere, anytime, any place, but you have consistently showed up. So I just wanted to mahalo you because I can't even imagine the amount of time and energy it must take, you know, not to just stand for the movement to protect Mauna Kea, but holding the front line essentially in a bunch of different spaces. So mahalo for that, Puna. We all appreciate you deeply. Um, and that's kind of a good segue into our next and final question, which is if you could say anything to your kupuna and or your mo'opuna, what would it be?
Well, I feel like I can talk to both of them. It's like when I seen the Lion King and Simba seen Mufasa in the sky, and he felt super lonely. And Mufasa told him, "No trip that I'm gone because you live on through me." And when I think of like my parents and my grandma who passed away, I feel like I have a lot of their mind states and habits, so they live on through me. Like, and even like mo'ukua kind things. I feel like the reason that I'm such a staunch person and aloha aina is because it it flows in the DNA from my ancestors, and I know that my descendants have greatness inside of our bones and our blood, and not just me and my family. A lot of all Hawaiians and aloha aina warriors, including you and everybody. You know, we know what is right and we know what is wrong. Discernment is in our DNA, and it'll help us stand for Pono and always fight to heal the world. As long as we try to keep them in our hearts, and they'll live on through us. So
Hmm. Oh, mahalo puna. I really appreciate these answers. And thank you so much for allowing me to interview you and just to get a little bit of the manao that you have through these questions. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or anything else you wanted to highlight in regards to the interview, or just your experience at UH, or even being on Mauna Kea? Is there anything you feel like we didn't cover? Like, shoot.
I don't know. I feel like now my next steps going forward is advocating more for my community, the West Side, and for Hawaiians as well. And I feel like if we don't come to spaces of academia, which is terrible, like other people, non-Hawaiians, non-Kanaka, go and tell our stories, and most times they do it for their gain, and they end up telling the wrong story. And I just constantly see people speaking for my community opinions that are like I feel like not of my community. So I yeah, I just want more Hawaiians to come to college, academia, and more Hawaiians to get involved with our culture, and more Hawaiians to learn our language. And that's it. I learned from the Maoris and Aotearoa to love fighting. So anytime there's something that needs to be addressed and stood up for, I'm there, and I want to see more Hawaiians there. And I think it's happening. The people are waking up and uprising and learning the truth and sharing the truth. So I think the future of Hawaii is great, especially because people like you and all of our Hoa. So yeah, I can't wait. And thank you so much for interviewing me and being nice to me, even though I'm straight up flustered. And yeah, aloha. Thank you. It's awesome to do this with you.
Of course, mahalo puna. I'm so excited for the other projects to come. All right. And this concludes today's interview with Punahele Kutzen. I'm going to be ending the recording. Yeah, mahalo puna.
Yeah, automatic.
All right. Oh, there we go. Sorry, there's so many buttons here. Oh,